Ladies and gents, boys and girls, happy Monday, January the 30th, 2023. Hope you're all doing well. Chris Phillips here, the Daily Crow of the Spurs Up Show. Very excited to chat with each and every single one of you here on this Monday. I see Gad, Bill Luttrell, Travie, Brennan M., Gene Lott, Todd Smith. What's going on? Also, those in the Big Cock Club Discord, head over to the TDC Questions channel. The TDC Questions channel, be sure your questions are answered there. Again, we got a lot to get into. We're taking your questions, your comments, your calls as well. 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377. Bruin Nation, what's up? Gavin, Big Wash, John Edwards, Stephen Borwell Jr. We got the whole crew here. Again, really excited to chat with each and every single one of you. As we get this week going, it is officially Nicholas Harbor announcement week, as he will make his official announcement where he'll be playing his college football and be running track on Wednesday. I would imagine details are to follow this week, because I have to think he's going to do something like on TV or a live stream on 24/7 or something like that. So really, really excited for Wednesday. Going to be a lot of fun. Also, the guest lineup this week on TDC is jam-packed. For the podcast on Thursday, I thought we were going to get him on TDC. My good friend JD Piquel of On3 Sports, we're actually chatting right after TDC today. So that full conversation, we'll talk everything from 2022 Gamecocks football, recruiting, Rattler, Wells, the 2023 season, all that good stuff. We'll talk South Carolina football. That combo will be attached, excuse me, to the Thursday podcast. Tomorrow, we've got Chris over from Southeastern 14, which they do a great job talking SEC sports. We'll talk with them about baseball, basketball, and football, because they really cover it all. And then, of course, Wednesday, Mark Ryan, Thursday, J.C. Sherbert, and we might even have a special guest on Friday. So just stay tuned for that, guys. Again, another jam-packed week. We continue to count down the days to opening day. 18 days away from that. South Carolina basketball rolls on, both men's and women's. We got some exciting things happening on that side of things as well. I'll tell you guys about in just a second. But again, really excited to chat with you all, and let's get this week going on a high note. Of course, as always, TDC brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. Go download the Prize Picks app, go to prizepicks.com, and when you do, use the promo code TSUS at sign up to receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Guys, you can play anything and everything from college sports, pro sports. Hey, the Super Bowl is upcoming, right? It's officially set. The Chiefs and Eagles will meet on February the 12th. So there will be tons of prop plays you can get into. Prize Picks is the spot to do it. Again, go download the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com. When you do, use the promo code TSUS at sign up to receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Be sure to check them out. Tell them that Chris from the Spurs Up Show sent you. And again, so many fans and listeners of the Spurs Up Show have made tons of money with our friends at Prize Picks. You should as well. And again, we appreciate our friends over at Prize Picks for their love and support of the show. And hopefully, I'm thinking the plan is we're going to make Prize Picks a much bigger part of TSUS as we move forward. Because I'll tell you guys, you know, I've always been someone that I've kind of casually thrown the gambling stuff out there, right? And just in the sense of I like throwing out the lines. I like throwing out futures. And I just think it's a really cool and a good indicator of what Vegas thinks, what the national consensus is. And it gives you sort of an idea, right, of what to expect. I'd like to make gambling content a bigger part of the Spurs Up Show and me start to take it a little bit more seriously, right? Because I've been doing my SEC gambling picks, and I'll be totally honest, and if there's anybody out there who has played those religiously, you're probably going to be upset to hear me say this, but, you know, I really don't do a whole lot of research when it comes to those SEC gambling picks. It's really just off the cuff. I look at the game, boom, that's what I'm going with. And to be fair, I've been over 500 every year doing that, which is pretty crazy. I also would not play every single game if I was actually playing games. So I'm going to take it a little bit more seriously this season and really try to lock in on the gambling side of things and throw some money down myself and us really, really get into it. So anyways, also, guys, really, really excited on the women's basketball side of things. Very, very pumped, right? Very pumped because we are giving away a pair of tickets to the South Carolina LSU women's basketball game that is upcoming on Sunday, February the 12th. Details will drop later on social media, but the giveaway is going to be run through Instagram, and we are collabing with our friends at Carolina Ale House in giving away these tickets. So again, really, really excited. Of course, that is a huge game. These are great seats as well, and you'll have your chance to win. It'll be very similar to our other giveaways. Like this page, tag 3 friends, and of course, follow Carolina Ale House to be eligible. But that will drop later today, and we'll pick our winner. We'll say probably Friday. Probably Friday we'll pick the winner. Maybe Saturday. I don't know. We might let it go through the weekend, but it'll be this week. We'll run the giveaway this week. Again, really excited to give away a pair of tickets to the South Carolina LSU basketball game. Also, guys, hey, you see the merch, right? Beamer Rattler 2023. Shout out to my dude over the weekend that was rocking the Beamer Rattler merch. That was incredible seeing him behind Lamont Paris because we just dropped that merch a couple of weeks ago. But over at tsus.store is where you can check this out. We're also dropping a new collection later tonight. You're going to be very excited to see this, folks. Again, we continue to hit the ground hard in regards to the merchandise side of the business. But again, tsus.store. You can check out our Beamer Rattler collection. You can check out the Yardcocks collection, all of that, the Carolina baseball stuff, the 7+3 = touchdown collection, all of that. So again, check us out. In the meantime, we're taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. The podcast, by the way, dropped this morning, episode 755, a full breakdown of what happened over the weekend on the hardwood as South Carolina suffers a heartbreaking. I mean, that was a heartbreaking loss. That was a gut-wrenching loss, to say the least. Losing in Athens. Also, we talk a little bit of Wendell Gregory. He committed to the Gamecocks on Friday. So discuss that, of course. We dove into our Yardcocks breakdown as we continue that. We talked second baseman on the show, which really excited for the second base position, and Will McGillis, the Southern Miss transfer. And outside of that, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all we touched on for the most part, I think. So, again, go check that out, episode 755. And, again, later this week, we will talk more basketball. We'll talk South Carolina short stops going into the season. And, again, we'll have that conversation with J.D. Piquel of On 3. Really pumped to talk with him this afternoon, like I mentioned. Again, guys, it is Nick Harbor announcement week. Let's see. We got some questions rolling in. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, shout out to Cock Hockey beating Clem Sucks 7-1. Big time W there. Jacob B said, did anybody else think the officiating from this weekend was terrible? NFL starting to look rigged. Yeah, I mean, the officiating last night, I watched the Chiefs game. That was rigged is a pretty serious accusation, but there were some very questionable calls in that ball game. Ronnie Pace, what's up? Appreciate you tuning in. Brian Dean says men didn't play bad at Georgia. Georgia had some help from the refs on Saturday. Yeah, I mean, dude, the refs definitely helped Georgia. You can blame the refs, but South kind of blew that game. There's just no other way to put it. The Gamecocks blew that game. I said it after the game, bad teams find ways to lose games, and that's unfortunately exactly what happened. That's exactly what you did. All those turnovers late in the ball game. Again, you had a 12-point lead, and you're just not able to hold on to it. I mean, I understand, man, we want to blame the refs, and SEC refs are terrible. I totally agree, and I get that. But the Gamecocks had that game in their grasp and just let it go. Just had that game in their grasp, and they just let it go. So, according to Hudson, is there a tweet or did somebody just say this? According to Hudson, Shane Beamer will be appearing on the Fan Upstate tomorrow at 9:45 a.m. I guess that's per Rob Brown, right? Because Rob Brown is live, or he was just live. That is very interesting. That's very interesting. Here's my question, and this is not a continuation of the previous conversation that had to do with the Fan Upstate and Mark Ryan and Shane Beamer. This is on a different level, because I'll say this. I wonder if Shane Beamer, if that's true, if he's going on Rob Brown's show, right? Because I know one of the issues that many at the Fan Upstate took, right? Because Mark Ryan is just one personality at that radio station. He's just one person, right? They have producers, they have other shows, they have other personalities, what have you. And so a lot of them were a little, they felt a little cross about it because it was like, okay, yes, it was tweeted by the station account, but there are other people at the station that are innocent bystanders. You know what I mean? That their livelihoods and their shows and the way people think of them now is negative because Beamer just bodied the entire station, not just Mark Ryan. Granted, it was their fault because they tweeted all that from the station account. So, I mean, anyways, I'm not trying to get in the nitty gritty. What the point I was going to make is, though, if Shane Beamer's going on the Fan Upstate after he basically, not basically, he did, after he just pummeled them into the ground on Twitter, mocked their follower count. I just wonder if Beamer will say anything in regards to, hey, just want you guys to know I think you do a great job. I don't like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I just wonder. It's not going to be a Beamer Mark Ryan segment because, again, if he's going on at 9:45, Mark Ryan is not even on the air until 3:00. So it's going to be on the Rob Brown show. But I just wonder, will Beamer almost soften his stance and kind of just say, hey, I didn't mean to, come at everyone at this station that had nothing to do with that piece of content. Like, I just wonder, right? I just wonder. Or will it be something where they just move on and it's not even addressed? Or, I don't know. I just wonder. That'll be a very interesting segment, no doubt. Hudson says, pretty sure they're just going to talk football, but I don't know. It could be addressed. Hudson, I just don't know how he could go on the Fan Upstate and it not be addressed. I feel like it'd just be the elephant in the room. You know what I mean? It would be the elephant in the room. I know Rob Brown wasn't attacked specifically, but again, Shane Beamer came at the entire station, which includes everyone at the station, right? Like, how could they not address it? And I am sure Shane Beamer, either off air, maybe on air, but I'm sure at minimum off air, Shane Beamer's going to say, hey, sorry if you took that personally. That shot wasn't meant for you necessarily. I don't know. I mean, it don't bother me either way. I'm just curious. I'm just very curious. I think it's an interesting dynamic for sure. Travis says some damage and image control. I mean, here's the thing, Travis. I would just say this. I don't think them bringing Shane Beamer on is going to change the people that hate the Fan Upstate now because of that. I don't think it's going to change anybody's mind. And that's unfortunate to say, but it's just the reality. Once people on social media, applies just in the world too, but unfortunately, a lot of people are so hard-headed and stubborn and narrow-minded that once people have an opinion on you and they make an opinion on you, it's very hard. People don't normally sway, right? Once they've demonized you, hey, that's it. That's it. The story of the Fan Upstate has been written for a lot of people. Or they're going to follow you from afar as a hater because they don't want to admit that, they've turned and, that person wasn't so bad after all. So, anyways, I don't know. Yeah, Hudson, I don't think they'll lead the convo there either. But I don't know, man. It just feels like that elephant in the room. But either way, that's big for the Fan Upstate. And what an ironic turn of events, right? I mean, you can sit here and say everything happens for a reason, right? And so for the Fan Upstate, if he does indeed go on, it's like, hey, would Shane Beamer ever have come on the airwaves had that not happened in the first place? I just wonder. As we still sit here never having Shane Beamer on the airwaves, it's kind of funny. Either way, though, it's whatever it is, what it is. It is what it is, folks. Cheers. Madison, yes, the women win again. Gamecocks have won a program record 27 straight games. Wild. 27 straight games. Feels good to be good. The women's basketball program, nobody embodies that more than the women's basketball program. Let's see. Okay. Big day for Will Sanders today. Big day for Will Sanders today. 2 preseason All-American teams he has been named to. Let's see. Sanders was named to the second team preseason All-American team. Baseball America was the first one to name him today, and then now D1Baseball.com has named him to their preseason All-American team. So Will Sanders, big time expectations, big time expectations for Will Sanders and what he's going to do this season. Let's see. Again, guys, if you're in the TDC questions channel, the Big Cock Club Discord, fire away with your questions there. John Edward, LSU and UConn could give us a game. I think UConn we could take care of. We play both, though. We play both, so we're going to find out. LSU's pretty damn good. LSU's pretty damn good. Garrett H. says, Chris, is Stone Blanton on the baseball team? No, he is not. There was a write-up a couple of weeks ago, Garrett, about Stone Blanton will be focusing on football this year, partially due to, he injured his shoulder during the football season, played through it, obviously, because in football, right, you can just tough it out, play through it, whatever. But just one of those injuries that does not bode well for baseball. So, no, he is focusing on football this spring. He is not on the baseball roster. And I understand it. I mean, it's one of those things that you come in, if you're a guy like Stone Blanton or anybody else, like, would you like to think you can play multiple sports? Yes, right? You'd like to think you can. And I'm not saying Stone is incapable of doing something. The guy was a fantastic and is a fantastic baseball player. But I feel like SEC football is such a business, and it is such a needle mover, if you will, right? That, like, I don't know, man. I just feel like it requires all of your attention, all of your effort, all of your energy, especially when you look at a guy like Stone Blanton. He's going to be the dude at linebacker this fall. I mean, he's the guy, right? He's your leader. We're going to be expecting like an all-conference type of season from him, or just like a big season. You know what I mean? Like he might lead your team in tackles this year. Like, that's the kind of role he's going to play. And so it's like, this is a massive spring for him. And so it's just like, I think most fans would rather him just focus on football, right? Like, selfishly enough, they'd rather him just focus on football. You know what I mean? Again, it sounds like it's more so coming down to that shoulder injury, and it wouldn't allow him to play. I don't know. I just, it's a shame because, I mean, we read how good of a baseball player he was. I mean, you were going to Mississippi State to play both. If you're doing that, you're a pretty damn good baseball player. So, yeah. So, Craig Phillips says, I know it's still early, but is Dawn pretty much turning into a Pat Summitt? If not better, Craig, if not better. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where you'd rank Dawn Staley right now of all-time coaches, but I mean, I think when it's all said and done, she's going to be one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest. I mean, I just don't see South Carolina women's basketball slowing down anytime soon. I mean, as long as Dawn Staley's at Carolina, that's going to be a top 5 program. I mean, look at the way they're recruiting, and let's just call it for what it is, right? You don't have the level of parity in women's college basketball, just in my opinion. Admittedly, I'm not watching every single game and all the women's college basketball across the country, right? But, like, you don't have quite as much parity, especially like what you have in the men's game, right? So, like, there are 6 to 8 really elite programs, like really, really elite programs, maybe 8 to 10. I mean, I don't want to sell anything short, but I mean, they're just getting the best players, dude. They're getting the best players, like, just above and beyond. It's not even remotely close. So as long as Dawn is there, they're going to be, in my opinion, at minimum, a top 5 program. I mean, it's just, again, there's a couple of teams I think, that'll give you headaches on a year in, year out basis. Stanford, LSU looks to be here for the long haul. UConn, who else is really good? I mean, and I'm not saying they're never going to lose again, right? There's going to be some games here and there, I'm sure, where it's like, here's the fun question. Would you, and I know it may sound weird, but would you rather South Carolina women's basketball lose a game before they get to the postseason? Because some will argue losing a game is good for you. Some will argue that. Or would you like to see them go into the postseason undefeated and see if they can carry that through and finish undefeated? I know it might sound silly, but there is some people that look at it and say, that loss right there, they needed that. They needed that to humble themselves, to lock in and to focus. I think this team, though, has got a real good chance to go undefeated. I think that is a very, very realistic goal for this group. I'm sure it's one they have set for themselves. But, I mean, who's going to beat them? Maybe LSU, but you got them on your home floor. Sellout crowd. So, yeah. Anyways, 843-790-3377. That's definitely a lot more fun to talk than the men's basketball for sure, because it is very, very ugly right now. It is very ugly on the men's basketball side of things. Really, I mean, just really unfortunate, man. Really unfortunate. Anyways, in case you missed it, Will Sanders named second team preseason All-American by D1Baseball.com. Those guys do a fantastic job. Also, shout out my boys, 11.7. They are back in the fold. Dropped a podcast this morning. Was checking it out a little bit. I'm pumped, man. I'm excited for college baseball. I'm really excited to get those guys on the show and talk ball with them. And, hopefully I can go on their show and talk a little ball as well. But really, really pumped, guys. 18 days until first pitch. 18 days. Going to be a lot of fun, man. The 2023 season is upon us. By the way, just a quick content update, and I was probably going to wait until like the week of to tell you guys, but I'll go ahead and let you know. Okay? I'll go ahead and let you know. And I know this may seem anticlimactic, if you will. I think I'm using that word correctly. The week of opening day, right? The week of opening day, that Tuesday is Valentine's Day. Now, why do I bring that up, right? That's a very big week for us. Monday, I will drop the full season preview podcast, have everything from projected lineup, rotation, predictions, storylines, all that good stuff. It's going to be a really, really fun show. The focus is going to be Carolina baseball in this upcoming season. Thursday's podcast will be a full series preview, right, of the upcoming series, of the first series of the 2023 baseball season, that series against UMass Lowell as we get it going. With that being said, though, we will have no TDC that week on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, because yours truly is going to be out of town Sunday through Wednesday. We are going skiing. I'm taking the lady to the mountains. We're going to hit the slopes. Going to have us a hell of a time. And I thought, you know what? Let's get a trip in before the baseball season really gets going, if you will. Not that we can't travel in season, but it just lined up with Valentine's Day. Great time of year to go. And I haven't been skiing since I was like 15 years old, so I'm really looking forward to it. But that week, that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the 13th, 14th, and 15th, we will have no TDC. We will return on Thursday, and we will get after it full steam ahead on TDC. And then, of course, Friday will be opening day. So we'll be looking forward to it. I just wanted to give you all that update. You want to go ahead and cross off your calendar, no TDC on those 3 days. But really excited to hit the mountains and go skiing. We're going to have us a hell of a time. It's Valentine's Day, man. Do something special for the lady or special for your man or whatever it might be, right? And that's what we're doing, going on a little trip. Going to be a blast. Going to have a lot of fun. Craig Phillips says, better question. Would you rather them lose to LSU or lose to a lesser team? I mean, I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose, but I don't know how to pick who you lose to, but I don't want to lose. But that LSU game is going to be a lot of fun. That LSU's game is going to be a lot of fun. So, anyways, guys, 843-790-3377. Again, we talked Gamecocks second baseman on the podcast today. Really excited. The name you need to know when it comes to second baseman, Will McGillis, the Southern Miss transfer. You look at his numbers from a season ago, and he's a redshirt senior, a right-handed batter, 264 for the Golden Eagles, 16 home runs, and 51 RBI. He did strike out 57 times, so he needs to cut down on the strikeouts, but also drew 32 walks. Was also 6 of 9 on stolen bases. But Will McGillis is the name. And again, we've talked a lot about the transfer portal when it comes to Yardcocks. This is one of the big transfer guys they are going to be leaning on. Again, you look at McGillis's numbers, you love what you see in regards to power. Would like to see those average numbers come up. And I will say this, I think the big thing and what makes a successful season for the second baseman, and in turn, Will McGillis, right? Because again, second base is all about this kid. You've got some depth there. I think Kevin Madden could slide in, Michael Braswell if you need behind him. But this position's all about McGillis. That's why they brought him in to be the everyday second baseman. I think sometimes we make too much of the transition from one league to another in regards to pitching. And I'm not saying, listen, the SEC is different. It's the best conference in all of college baseball. The pitching you're going to see on a weekend in, weekend out basis is unlike any other. But if you can hit, you can hit, right? If you can hit, you can hit. And I think the big question for McGillis will be the transition from, playing at Southern Miss and the competition they face on a weekly basis to the SEC. But again, if you can hit, you can hit. And 16 home runs, you've got power. You've got legitimate power that will play pretty much anywhere, especially at Founders Park. So Will McGillis also, by the way, heard he's not too shabby with the glove. So should be another positive addition to your defense. And, what you hope is the insertion of another veteran bat for Mark Kingston's squad. And hopefully that's going to lead, to improved offensive numbers for this ball club. So Will McGillis is hopefully, and I think a name you're going to get to know very, very quickly, and is someone that, as the season progresses, might become a household name for this Gamecocks team in 2023. So really excited for what McGillis can provide you, like I said, and coming over from Southern Miss. And, hey, listen, Southern Miss was a good program. They are a good program. They had a hell of a season last year. We're in the Super Regionals, I believe. So, they're guys that come from there. They're not intimidated by facing SEC pitching or being in the SEC. Those guys love taking on Mississippi State, LSU. I mean, they do it all the time. And, again, Southern Miss is a really dangerous program, dangerous team, and they take a lot of pride in their baseball. So a guy coming from there, you know that he'll be ready. Anyways, guys, 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377. Any thoughts on the basketball game over the weekend? Also, by the way, this is a complete side note. Yours truly, I'm in full golf mode at this point, by the way. I don't know how many golfers we have that tune into the show. I feel like we got a decent amount, but I am working on adding. So my vendor just recently released, we used to have these cottony type polos, whatever. They were okay, got the job done. We're not my favorite, to be honest with you. My vendor now has Adidas variants for golf polos and quarter zips. And I got some for me, guys. And let me tell you, the material, the quality it's second to none. I know we're an Under Armour school, but you know what? Adidas is what my vendor has. Adidas is what I'm going with. So for all my golfers out there, we finally have legitimate golf merchandise, and we'll be adding golf merchandise over at tsus.store. So literally every popular design we have that you can think of, it will be on a golf polo, and we'll be dropping those quarter zips. They'll be in black and white. Unfortunately, we do not have any garnet, but still, it's enough to get the job done. And again, really excited for that. So all my golfers out there, you will have a full collection. Yeah, the Adidas polos are really nice. I will say that. It's a really nice, lightweight, kind of dry fit material. Really, really nice. So, I mean, again, if you guys are hitting the golf course, you're hitting the links this spring, this summer, definitely going to leave. And you want to wear it for game day, right? You want to wear it for game day. You guys obviously see, I'm not a huge polo guy. I when it comes to content and tailgates, I normally only wear polos when I'm golfing, but the amount that I'm golfing now, I definitely need it. Lynn, I will check, Lynn, on the women's cuts on Golfwear. I will see if they've got specific women's polos. They might. They actually might. Yeah, they might. So I will let you know. I will check on that, Lynn. Yeah, I'm still putting all the golf apparel together. I have not even remotely finished that in regards to putting that together. But I've got myself a Beamer Rattler 2023 polo, and it's fire. I mean, it's just absolute fire. So on that note, guys, the Beamer Rattler 2023 merch is out and available now. So be sure to go check it out over at tsus.store. Let's see. Yeah, Coleman. Yeah, Ole Miss did eliminate Southern Miss. You are correct. Aaron Thompson, defense is a hell of a lot more important for my second baseman than his power. Yeah, Aaron, no, I've heard great things about McGillis defensively. I've heard great things about him. I think we should be good. It's not like we got some guy who's a slouch, but he can just hit. Yeah, feel really good about McGillis's defense, but it's all about hitting, though, Aaron. It really is. It's all about hitting. It's about finding the 9 best hitters and putting them in the lineup. That's it. I mean, dude, if you can hit, you'll play. Bottom line, if you can hit, you'll play. Yeah, they will find a spot for you if you can hit. So, yeah, excited what McGillis can bring. Excited for what McGillis can bring. Really excited to lock in my predictions on the season. That's started to become clearer and clearer for me as we get closer to first pitch. Looking forward to looking forward to it. Looking forward to dropping those predictions. Again, we'll be out of town that week, but the content will just continue to roll. I'm probably going to have content from like the top of a freaking mountain, literally on a ski slope. So that'll be a lot of fun. That'll actually be very, very cool. So, yeah. Let's see. Okay, beautiful. Anyways, guys, 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377. Let's see. Ruination says 31 minutes in the show, and we haven't hit on the biggest story of the weekend, Satterfield's rice and sausage. Yeah, indeed. Indeed, my friend. That rice and sausage was tough. That rice and sausage was a tough look for sure. I just can't believe they tweeted that. I can't believe they posted that. Truly. Like, why? You didn't have to post that, right? I don't know. Looked about as bland as Satterfield's offense did at South Carolina. So there's not a whole lot of love for Sat from the Gamecock community. That's for damn sure. The Gamecocks take on UConn Sunday, February the 5th. So this Sunday, right? That'd be this Sunday. Yeah. That's this Sunday. So you've got the upcoming schedule. The women's team plays Kentucky at home on Thursday, and then again at UConn at noon on Fox this Sunday. So you got Kentucky, UConn, Auburn, and then LSU at home. And that's the big one, of course, Sunday, February the 12th. Huge game. Huge game. Kemper, what's up, my man? How are you? What's going on? John Edward, the elephant in the room. Shane Beamer 2024. Welcome, Mazio Bennett, possibly. Yeah, John Edward, I have no idea. I have no idea who it is. I've seen some projections. I've seen some people guessing who it might be. I'm not exactly sure. Aaron, yeah, Wingo did not hit worth a damn until he was later in his career for sure. Here's a fun story, guys. I don't know if y'all knew this. Ray Tanner actually brought in Adrian Morales to be Scott Wingo's replacement if he did not get his act together swinging the bat. Yep, that's a fun story for sure. Let's see. Anyways, guys, phone lines wide open here on this Monday. How was you guys' weekend, by the way? Mine was pretty uneventful, just chilled, hang out, low key, nice and relaxing. We had a good time. Yeah, Jacob E. Stetson Bennett arrested in Dallas. Pretty wild, right? Pretty wild. Mark Sturkey says, why do you talk shit about Clemson, but you hire their coach? It's Clem sucks, by the way, Mark. It's Clem sucks. Monty Lee was a Gamecock before he was a Tiger. So all is forgiven, my friend. Yeah. It's Clem sucks, though, Mark. Clem sucks. Make sure you get it right here if you're on this channel. Kemper, is the basketball team getting a little better with each game played? Well, Kemper, I think a lot of it has to do, if you want to be totally honest, with the fact that Georgia's not very good either. If you look at the statistics going in that game, both these teams, I mean, it was two of the worst teams statistically in college basketball. So, you know, I would like to think this team's improving, Kemper, no doubt. I mean, you saw some things the other night that hopefully those trends stick, right? If you can get a more consistent production, if you can get more consistent production out of Hayden Brown, I think that's going to help in the long run. Jacoby Wright, right? Chico Carter, what they did in support roles. You know, G.G. Jackson, you just need him to keep doing his thing. And if you can get Michi Johnson going, I mean, you might be cooking with something. That's why I think this team will win 2 or 3 more games, probably. Maybe 1 or 2, I don't know. But they'll win a couple more just because I think there will be a couple of nights where it does click. I think this team, Kemper, kind of is who it is. I mean, listen, you would expect them to get better, right, over the course of the season. I mean, it would seem like, you know, we're not asking Lamont Paris for really anything in year 1. But if you can't even show improvement from game 1 to the final game, I mean, that to me just seems that seems like that's a pretty fair ask, right? All we're asking is this team improve just slightly over time. That's all we're asking for. I don't know that it'll happen, though. I don't know that it is really happening. I mean, I think we'll get a much better gauge tomorrow night when you take on Mississippi State at home. You know, and that's a game that I think you'll probably be an underdog in again. I'll be very curious, though, to see what the line is in that ball game. But, you know, I would expect Mississippi State to play a lot of press because we obviously showed we could not handle it against Georgia. So, it's just tough because that Georgia game was one you should have had, man. That hurts. That hurts to have a game in your grasp like that. And just let it slip through, man. Just let it slip through is tough. Just really, really tough. So, but it is what it is. And, you know, the tough season continues. So, Madison Duncan, I think we're good on audio. I think it might just be you. I don't know. Chase Youngblood said that shit was a monstrosity. I'm sure you're talking about Satterfield's cooking. I would imagine that's what you're speaking on here. Will Sisk said, if Kingston can't do it this year, is Monty Lee the coach in waiting? I don't think it's that simple. I don't think so. I don't think so. That to me, you know, it's a bold move, right? It's a bold move to bring on Monty Lee onto your coaching staff, to bring on Clem Sucks's fired head coach onto your staff. However, you can get away with it because Monty was a Gamecock first, right? And those in the baseball community have a great deal of respect for Monty Lee. Players love the guy. I mean, I've never heard anybody say one bad word about Monty Lee from when he was at South Carolina, College of Charleston, Clem sucks, whatever. Monty Lee is a guy that is universally liked. So maybe it's not too bold to bring him onto your staff as an assistant. However, if things go south this year and it's evident you've got to move on from Mark Kingston, promoting Monty Lee as your head coach, not doing any sort of diligent search and just, you know, making the easy move on your staff and promoting Monty Lee to your head coach who did not win at Clem sucks, I think that's too bold. I don't think that happens. I think South Carolina, if it goes south, I think they will clean house, and I think there will just be a full-on search, and I think the Gamecocks will commit to hiring a big-time name that fits South Carolina baseball and what this school is and what this program is and what the expectations are. I just, as much as I like Monty Lee, I don't see that happening. I don't think it occurs where Coach Lee slides in and takes over as the next head coach. That's just my 2 cents. Anyways, guys, let's see. Anyways, we've hit 12:40. Let's go ahead and jump into our first break. The time is flying by today here on this Monday. On the other side, I want to hear from you. More of your questions, your comments, your calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377 here on this Monday. Hey, the final couple of days of January, right? Wednesday is February the 1st. Hey, soak in every day, folks. Enjoy the present moment because time flies by. As you see, the first month of 2023 is almost over. Coleman Hall asks, your honest prediction for South Carolina football's offense this fall, my honest prediction. I will say, I mean, it's hard to pinpoint exactly points per game and all that. I don't think we're going to be like Tennessee's offense. Let me just put it that way. I don't think we're scoring 50 a game or anything crazy like that. I think offensive line still has a ways to go. At this point right now, running game feels like a bit of a question mark. I don't know who our starting running back is going to be. We have a major, major question mark at the running back position. O-line's a little bit of a new look group to a degree. Again, having Juice and Rattler back is big, and I think Trey Knox adds a nice piece at tight end. He'll be another weapon for you. When it's all said and done, right, the numbers may not look all that much different than what they were this past season. Maybe a little bit better, but like points per game wise, you averaged fine. But I just want to see more consistency. That's really it. I just want to see consistency. I don't want us for 10 weeks to look totally incompetent, right? I don't want us for 10 weeks to look totally clueless. And then the final 2 weeks of the season, figure it out. So, and I think we will. I think we have to, and I think we will. But it's going to be interesting, Coleman, no doubt. I don't think it's just some sure thing that, all of a sudden we're going to be we've got some holes to plug. There's no question. Andrew Murphy, will there be packs smoked for the baseball season? Will there be packs? There will indeed be packs, Andrew. I will say this, though. I mean, it's obviously not going to be like an every game we win pack. It's probably not even going to be a every series victory pack. I don't know. We could do that, though. We could do that. I'd have no problem with that. But for the big series, I'll pick and choose my spots, Andrew. But there will most definitely, I'm not going to smoke a pack after we win a midweek game. I'm not doing that, right? That's a little bit of overkill. Yeah, I think that's a little bit of overkill. So, anyways, 843-790-3377. Big time pickup on Friday afternoon. Wendell Gregory, the 4-star linebacker. Also, guys, speaking, we were talking about the fan upstate earlier. Talking about the fan upstate, I will be going on Mark Ryan's show today at 4:40. Which, God, you think about it, a week ago. Was it a week ago? I think it was a week ago today when all the chaos and madness just went down. Anyways. Excited to talk with Mark. I'm sure we're going to talk a lot of Gamecocks basketball, maybe some more recruiting. Of course, again, it is Nicholas Harbor decision week. Looking forward to that. Travi says, smoke one when we beat the Citadel. Just kidding. Travi, I don't know, after last year, I think we should celebrate every midweek win, right? I don't know. I'll say this. I think the packs are best when they're organic, right? With football, it's easy, though. You only play 12 games, so it's like you're going to smoke a pack after every single one of those games, right, when you win, especially the big games. But in baseball, it's more so there's so many games. You got to pick and choose your spots. I'll tell you this. The next basketball game that we win, men's, we better smoke a pack because I don't know that we're going to get many more opportunities to do so. We better just go ahead and light up a pack. Go ahead and burn it down, my guy. Go ahead and burn it down. Aaron Hodges, I apologize. What's your expectation of the defense? That side of the ball is thin. Yeah, I mean, I think that again, there's question marks there as well, and every team has question marks, but you lost two big time edge guys. I mean, I'll tell you this: I think if we sit back and we're really realistic with ourselves, right? There are things to be optimistic about this season. Year 3, Rattler, Juice are back. But there are holes on this football team. There's just no question. I mean, there are some massive holes, and I know people don't like to hear it, but the transfer portal ravaged us. There's no question. I understand why 24/7 Sports labeled us as a loser in the transfer portal. I don't feel like we picked up the same caliber of player we lost. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I think we missed on a couple of guys that we wanted that would have been game changers. I mean, one specifically in Jeffcoat that would have been a day one starter. I mean, yes, we've got some very talented freshmen coming in. Very talented freshmen. But if you just look purely at the transfer portal and what it did to our roster, it hurt this year. It hurt, absolutely. You lose both of your starting edge guys. You're going to have 2 brand new corners. I know you feel good about your young guys in the secondary, but still, it's a new look secondary. I think linebacker, Stone Blanton, I'm excited for him, but linebacker's still a question, guys. It's still a question. What is it going to be? Stone Blanton and then freaking Pup Howard playing as a true freshman? That's a question mark. Run defense is a question mark again, right? And then offensively, your O-line, what do you make of that group? Again, you're bringing in some really good players, but they're not going to be ready to play immediately. You're not starting freshmen up front. That's not a good recipe for success in the SEC. And then outside of Rattler and Wells, I mean, what are the proven weapons? I feel good about Knox. We'll throw him in there as well. I mean, outside of that, I guess you could throw Xavier Legette. I guess you could throw Xavier Legette as a nice number 2. But, yes, Mo Kaba, Jeremy, good point. Thank you. I did forget about Mo Kaba. That is my mistake because he got hurt. Yes, Mo Kaba. Coming off an injury, though, that'll be a question. I forgot Debo Williams is even back, to be honest with you. That's damn. I didn't know he had that much eligibility. Okay. It's funny. They've still got the 2022 roster, and the top name is Jaheim Bell. That's funny. Okay, Debo was a redshirt sophomore. You are correct. All right. So maybe we'll be a little bit better at linebacker than I thought. But the bottom line is this. We're going to have question marks all over the field. I guess, did Daryl Ware into the portal? Is he back? I don't know. I don't remember. Anyways, so I think the defense, it's tough to say, man. I mean, you're asking me about specific predictions in January, right, for the defense. It's tough to say because there's a lot of moving pieces and there's going to be a lot of new faces. And so, what do you make of that? But, I'll tell you this. I think this Gamecocks team, there's a lot of reasons to be excited, right? There's a lot of reasons to be excited. There's also a lot of question marks. There's a reason why I put my worst case scenario at 7-5. It could happen. 7-5 could happen. It absolutely could happen. That's why, I think you look at the schedule. If you can go 8-4 again, guys, I think that's a really good year. Correct me if I'm wrong. Would 8-4 be a successful year in year 3 of Shane Beamer? As our good friend Luke RJ says, is that Beamer ball? Is 8-4 in year 3? Is that Beamer ball, or is that falling short? Do you need to see Carolina improve on their win total yet again? I would say 8-4 would be a successful year. I do. I would. I actually liked a lot what Mark Ryan had to say. Success is 8-4. The goal, though, is 9-3. The goal's 9-3. But 8-4 would be a successful year. I think 7-5 would be, it'd be an average year. It'd be a little bit below average. I think you lose a couple of games. If you go 7-5, I think you're losing a few that are really tough to stomach. maybe Mizzou again or a Kentucky sneaks up and bites you. Maybe that season opener to UNC. You know, anything worse than 7-5, 6-6 or worse is a failure in my opinion. It's a failure. But it's not outside of the realm of possibility, guys. Right? I mean, look what happened to Arkansas in year 3. They had all these crazy expectations, thought they might win the West. They went 6-6. I mean, it's very possible, right? Because you think, what if Liam Cohen and O'Leary at Kentucky is the answer for them offensively? What if Bobby Petrino at Texas A&M, laugh all you want, but what if he's the answer for them offensively for the Aggies? And you got to go to College Station. You know, what if Tennessee's Tennessee again and they bounce back and get revenge on you? They're on their home field. Georgia's still Georgia. What if your secondary and your defense as a whole isn't really quite ready and up to the challenge week 1 for Drake May and what that UNC offense can do? What if Clem sucks is a lot better than we think they're going to be or hope they're going to be with Garrett Riley and Cade Klubnik, and they come into Willie B and get their revenge? I'm just saying, all of a sudden, 7-5, 6-6 creeps into the realm of possibility. Not saying that's going to happen. I'm just giving you the alternative perspective. On the flip side, we could just beat all those teams I just mentioned, or most of all those teams, right? So, and Kaki Twan says, we have Spencer. Yes, we have Spencer, Kaki Twan. You're right. But you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me a lot like last year and last summer, where I did not give even enough credence to the fact that we could have been as bad as we were offensively, Kaki Twan. I mean, think about it, my guy. Would you have ever expected that? So, like, you have to. I think it's only fair, man. You have to go into this season thinking that's possible. Maybe not to that level, but, like, this offense still might not be as explosive as we want it to be. It may not. It might be way better, but it may not. You know what I mean? Like, it might just be average. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I put a lot of it on, but like, it's a new system. It's a new OC. Is it going to be just a seamless transition? I hope so. I really hope so. But, you know, I'm going to need more than a press conference to convince me otherwise. Because I can't even, it's hard for me to believe at times that people put so much stock in coaching pressers. Like our guy, I keep bringing Luke RJ up, but Luke RJ, that dude will judge a coach, a team, a player off a press conference. Bro, I've heard the same shit from different coordinators, players, et cetera, head coaches over. It don't mean jack shit. Hey, in the preseason, the summer, everybody's undefeated. Everybody's 0-0. What difference does it make? Every coordinator's great in the summer, right? Like, that's kind of like, listening to Mark Kingston and the players talk. And I understand, right? You go into the season and you're optimistic, excited. You should be. You absolutely should be. But everyone is optimistic and excited this time of year, right? Guess what? We were optimistic and excited this time of year last year before we had a losing record. So, talking season just don't mean a whole lot, man. It don't mean a whole lot. Really doesn't. Talking season, it don't mean a ton. It don't mean a ton. Anyways, guys, let's see. Let me make sure. Wow, I've had the phone lines on Do Not Disturb this whole time. I don't think anybody's even tried to call in, thankfully. But the phone lines were on Do Not Disturb, guys. I do apologize. They're wide open now, though. 843-790-3377. I think I cut it on Do Not Disturb over the weekend. I apologize on that. James Kendall, Muschamp's press conference was better than Kirby's. I mean, yeah. I mean, dude, Muschamp was good in pressers. Yeah, Muschamp was good in pressers. And fans are funny in that way, right? Because, I mean, there were Gamecock fans that defended Muschamp to the end, right? I mean, really, truly there were. People may not remember that now. You know, they conveniently forget that. But, so, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, and I love Coach Beamer, and I'm not saying this because like there's a bunch of things I want to say about Shane Beamer, but like guys, you can't really say anything even remotely critical about South Carolina football and in turn Shane Beamer without the wrath of Gamecock Nation raining down on you. And that's totally fine. And I don't have anything. Like I said, I think Shane Beamer's doing a great job. Beamer ball to the freaking moon. I really have no complaints about Shane Beamer. The point I'm trying to make, though, is it's like, isn't it funny? Like, people defended Muschamp the exact same way. And you can't tell me they didn't. Listen, I know there's some of you out there that thought the hire was trash from the start. I hear you. But most of Gamecock Nation, I would argue, or a lot of Gamecock Nation, they defended Muschamp the same exact way they defend Beamer. Not different, the same exact way. The same exact way. And I can tell you from personal experience, because when I went on record and said fire Will Muschamp, it was, oh my God. I mean, every day on social media was an all-out war. It was an all-out war, right? And there were people that rode with Muschamp, I mean, until the very end. It took some people, I remember talking to some people in the 2020 season, like after the A&M game, when we lost 48-3 at home. Y'all recall that? Or was it 48-0 or something like that? And they were like, yep, that's the one that broke me. I'm like, what took you so long? Like, it took you that long? It took you that long? So, yeah, it's just like, I mean, dude, yeah, and Coleman, I think, great point here. People worship college football coaches like they or their parents worship God. Hey, it just means more, Coleman. It just means more. It just means more, my friend. Let's see. Yeah, Cocky Twan. I think y'all know when I was done with Muschamp after the North Carolina game. Guys, again, quick reminder. You see the merch. Beamer Rattler 2023. Haven't gotten a ton of feedback on it in regards to, I mean, we've seen people buying it, which I appreciate that. But what do y'all think about the new design? Do you like it more, less, the same than the 22 design? Obviously, it's different. We got the year on the bottom now. Beamer Rattler, the outline. We got this in garnet black and white. Do y'all like it more, less, the same as the 22? Again, I didn't just want to keep the exact same design and then change the number. Wanted to go with something a little bit different. You know, it's tough to top because the 22 design is the first one, right? It was the first one, and so it's hard to, it's hard for a sequel to top the original. But I think the merch turned out pretty well, actually, to be honest with you. So, but I'd love to hear you guys' feedback. Coleman Hall, I can't lie. I remember that Louisiana Tech game. I was out on Muschamp then. Yeah, we were down like 16-0 and won 17-16. James Kendall says the 10-minute drive against Florida broke me. That was again, that was 2020 though. James, you were still, there were still a lot of people that were hanging on for dear life going into 2020 after a 4-8 season. Wow, here we go. Yeah, here's the confirmation. Rob Brown Show confirms South Carolina head coach Shane Beamer will join the Rob Brown Show tomorrow morning at 9:45. Set your calendar for Coach Beamer's The Fan Upstate debut. Very much so looking forward to the conversation. Hashtag Spurs Up. The Fan Upstate's Twitter account quotes it. Set your calendars. Gamecocks fans, USC head coach Shane Beamer join the Rob Brown Show. Let's get it. I'm actually very happy for them. That is awesome. I think that's very awesome. Somebody literally replied and said, "How did you get coach to agree to come on a JV radio station that no one listens to?" Again, I just, to the point somebody made earlier, I don't think they're going to like start the convo with like, hey, so coach, about that tweet. I don't think they're going to do that. But I just don't know how Shane Beamer is going to come on the show without saying something about it. I think Beamer's actually going to, I'll tell you this. I think Beamer's going to issue an apology. How much do you want to bet? I am willing. Why else would you go on? Why else? Because then again, to that point, if they're a JV radio station nobody listens to, why would you be going on it? You see what I'm saying? So I wonder. I am going to be tuned in very closely to that conversation. I am very excited to hear what Beamer's going to have to say. I'm just going to say that right now. I am very, very pumped. I do think it's kind of funny though. He's not going on and talking to Mark. I wonder how Mark feels about it. I wonder how Mark feels about that. Robbie Davis says, "What's up, Chris? It's Robbie. Like I've said all along, let Beamer cook. All we need to do is relax. Go Gamecocks. Beamer, ball to the moon." Robbie, you're the man. Appreciate you, my friend. Hope you're having a fantastic Monday. Coleman said Beamer's going to be nice or super sassy. I don't think, Coleman, I don't think he's going to be super sassy because Rob Brown was actually on Beamer's side or whatever during the whole thing. Was only complimentary of Beamer, only supportive of Beamer. So I don't think Beamer would have agreed to come on if he was like going to come on with an attitude. You see what I'm saying? Like, I just don't, why would Beamer double down for no reason? You know what I mean? Why would he double down for no reason? I don't know. But I love to see it. I really do. I love to see it. Hey, and you know what I'll say is this. You know what I'll say? I'll say this. Everything happens for a reason. And so now I'm sure if you asked anybody at the Fan Upstate, they are so happy things played out the way they did. Because you know why? You know what the end result was? Shane Beamer's coming on their radio station. I mean, they won. They won. It worked out pretty well for them, right? Like that end result worked. I don't know that Beamer's coming on their radio station otherwise. It worked out pretty well. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. Seemed like it worked out pretty well for the Fan Upstate. And good for them too, because I don't think Beamer coming on our airwaves is something that'll ever happen. I don't, and it's fine, Listen, we've got great relationships with. It's interesting though, the relationships like I'm tight with the coaches, with a couple of the coaches on staff. Like there's people, it's either like I'm tight with people in the building or like there's people in the building that literally despise me. It's one way or the other, right? I'm sure I don't know that there's a whole lot of people that are just kind of in the middle. I mean, heck, guys, I can tell you this. I was informed that apparently when they hire interns or whoever, like they hire a lot of interns, like their recruiting staff and the strength staff and all that, whatever, like just these like college kids or college students or what have you. Apparently, whenever they hire them, they've got something on the form or like on the application or agreement they sign or whatever. They have to check a box or sign off on something that basically says you will not give any information to the Spurs Up Show. And it specifically states the Spurs Up Show. So TSUS is well known in the Gamecocks football building. That is for sure. So it's all good, though. It's all love. Because, again, it's really funny. Like, there are coaches that I talk to in the building. Like, there's people that I talk to in the building still. So, I mean, whatever. It's I don't know. And then there's still people that send me stuff that work on the creative media team, that work on the strength staff, that work on, whatever, you know what I mean? The recruiting staff, whatever. But no, I've got a good relationship with Shane Beamer. He follows us on social media, as do many of the coaches. I've communicated with Coach Beamer before, met him in person, talked in person. The relationship is great. So the relationship is fantastic. It's nothing like what it was when Muschamp was the coach. So, yes, Phil, that clip was a year ago today, and that was from the Ruck and Rooster show. You were in the clip, Phil, so it should have looked familiar to you. But yeah, I appreciate you. I'll say this too. I was looking at that clip. I was like, I like the studio setup more now than what we used to have at the old studio. I don't know. I'm a bigger fan of the setup now. I will say that. Guys, let's go ahead and jump into another break. On the other side, I want to continue to hear from you. More of your questions, comments, calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377 here on this Monday, January the 30th, 2023. Again, appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you all so much. Excited to get this week going with each and every single one of you. Had our guy Bruin Nation send me something, a screenshot from a Facebook group, and I'm hesitant to read it, man, just because you just never know what is true and what's not in like these Facebook groups and he said, she said type of stuff. So, which it's funny. I feel like I've been banned from a lot of Facebook groups for some strange reason. I don't know. Either way, let's jump into the phone lines here.
Call from
Justin, what's up, man? How are you?
You're good. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing fantastic, my friend. Appreciate you asking. What's going on?
Hey, Chris. It was not a good day. It was not a good weekend for me this week. This heartbreak for soccer. It was just most heartbreaks I ain't seen in a long time.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate game Saturday night, man. You just you had it in your grasp and just kind of let it go. I mean, it just I know refs played their part and they weren't very good, but at the end of the day, you had that one and just slipped through your fingers. And I said it after the game, and I said it on the podcast, and I'll say it again. But unfortunately, I think just bad teams find ways to lose games, and it was the turnovers that did you in. So, again, it's unfortunate. It's a shame because I think that's one of the games you looked at, even though you're an 11.5-point underdog. That was one of your more winnable games left, and you do get Georgia at home, so you'll have the opportunity to exact your revenge on them. But, for a team just looking for any sort of positive momentum, positive mojo, what have you, that was a great opportunity to get it. And just a really tough L, just a really, really tough L.
Yeah, because the thing about this is you got to look at Vanderbilt too, because those are two wins we should have right now, Georgia and Vandy. That's kind of scratching my head right now. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. I think Vandy is a little bit better this year than I thought they would be. I mean, both those games are on the road. It's hard to win on the road, but those were two of your more winnable matchups. So again, you'll have your opportunities, like I said, to get your revenge. But yeah, I mean, you need to win those games on your home floor, no doubt.
Yeah, and because like you said, we can't get beat up like this again at home, because the beat there, it's got to stop.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because the other thing is, I watched Steve Bussell last Sunday. I mean, yesterday, man, he was having a hard time getting loose.
Yeah, no doubt, yeah.
I mean, Steve Bussell, they were on him a lot.
I mean, yeah, wouldn't you take away their top weapon also? I mean, that's, and the Eagles are really good. So I'll be honest with you, man, I didn't watch a single snap of that game. I really didn't. I was locked in doing some other things, but yeah, it's a shame we don't get to see Deebo Samuel in the Super Bowl. It is a shame.
Yeah, Chris, I'm a 49 fan. It's a shame. It's a damn shame that he had his chances,
Mm-hmm.
But no, we just got cute,
Yeah.
Yeah. And Chris Fargo, man, Miami fired their offense coordinator. I did not know that. Did you know that too, Chris?
Yeah, they fired their OC. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I mean, for 1 year, are you kidding?
I mean, the pressure to win is high, my friend. The pressure to win is high.
Yeah, and Chris, look at that man. Do you think he was looking at Miami's offense coordinator too? I think he was he?
I have no idea, man. As far as I'm concerned, he was looking at Dowell Loggins only. He made one call and he got Dowell Loggins. So I will comment no further on the OC search.
Yeah, and Chris, and look, Facebook, Gary Wiley, remember?
Say it again?
Remember the Facebook on Gary Wiley?
Nope, I don't even remember what you're talking about, Justin. Have no idea.
I thought about
Justin. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yes, I remember. I recall that. Yes, I recall fans clamoring for Garrett Riley. Yes, I'm joking with you because I'm so tired of the madness associated with the OC stuff that, you know what, if it ain't about Dowell Loggins, I don't even want to hear it at this point. So I'm I'm done with the hypotheticals. I'm done with we wanted who wanted what. Hey, King Dowell is in Columbia, and all hail King Dowell, the greatest OC who ever lived. Let Loggins cook.
Yeah, I agree, Chris. And Chris, like you said, people see hold this today, man. I mean, come on, guys, let it go, please.
It's been let go, my friend. I promise you.
Right?
I promise you, it's been let go. It's been let go. I ain't. Yeah, it's been let go. So I will not even speak the name of the Clem Sucks OC anymore from this point forward, as far as I'm concerned. He who shall not be named.
Yeah, Nick. Yeah, I agree, Chris. And Chris, and like I said, man, I got over this a while back, and like I said, I'm moving forward. Who we got? That's who we got, right, Chris?
All we got's all we need, my friend. All we got's all we need.
Yep. Yep. Well, Chris, that good one, my brother. It's good talking to you, man.
Yes, sir. Justin, I appreciate you, my guy. Thank you so much.
You right, Chris?
Yeah, man. Take care. Yeah, of course I was messing around with Justin, but no, I am focused on Dowell Loggins as our offensive coordinator. I am focused on nothing else other than that. Any other conversations regarding the OC stuff is irrelevant to me. So that's all I'm saying. That's all. Dowell Loggins to the freaking moon, folks. An update here on the Gamecocks signing class. Sports Talk tweeting out, per Howard High School coach Paul Caberlin, Macon, Georgia. Defensive end Zay Hardy will sign Wednesday at 9 a.m., but most likely not with the Gamecocks. Hardy also has several junior college options. Hardy committed to USC in August. So that's a bit unfortunate, I guess you could say. Sounds like it'll either be a JUCO or an HBCU or something else, but appears that Zay Hardy will not sign with Carolina. That kind of sucks. Anyways, here we go. Let's jump back to the phone lines here. Scotty, what's up, man? How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Appreciate you asking what's going on.
Dude, I hate to change it to the baseball topic real quick, but I'm ecstatic for the season to start. Did you go to any of the scrimmages this weekend?
I did not, but I will probably be going this weekend. I would assume they'll be scrimmaging same format again. My schedule is wide open this weekend, so I'd like to get down there and catch them for a day or two. So I was not there this past weekend. I heard a little bit from some folks who were there, but yeah, anyways.
I was going to say, I was down there Saturday, and I talked to some of the bullpen guys.
Mm-hmm.
They said that Sanders, now I'm a pitching-minded person, so this was pretty cool to hear.
Mm-hmm.
But they said that he was like 96, 97, and his slider was like 90, 91. That's going to be difficult to hit right there, but especially if it's got movement, like of course it will and stuff. So that's going to be something spectacular to see. And then, what's his name? Hold on a second. Caleb Denny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Boy.
Oral Roberts transfer.
He's got the pop in the bat. That man hit 2 out on Saturday.
Yeah, I heard that. I did hear Denny had a good day Saturday. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason. There's a reason Will Sanders is listed as an All-American basically by every single publication. And he needs to live up to that. He needs to be that guy for us, no doubt. If the Gamecocks are going to have a good season, I mean, we need to swing it, and the offense is the question mark. But, I think if we're going to win upwards of, high 30s, low 40, if we're going to hit the 40 win mark, I think Will Sanders needs to live up to and be that All-American guy. He needs to be that frontline ace, that big time, a double-digit win type of guy. I think it's very possible. So, he's got all the tools. He's got the stuff. He needs help, obviously, but, I think Sanders is most certainly primed for by far his best season at Carolina.
Definitely. They were saying that Noah Hall was up there, too.
Yeah.
Not necessarily as fast as Sanders, but that he was up there. So that's something to really.
Yeah, from everything I've heard, it sounds like it's going to be Sanders, Hall, Mahoney on the weekend. That's what I would project it right now.
I would definitely assume that.
Mm-hmm.
But my cousin is one of the equipment managers on staff and stuff, and we were sitting there Saturday, and so you get to hear like all the coaches like sit there and talk to the players and stuff like after the game. So very cool moment, especially because that's what I want to do and stuff like that. But besides the point, he was sitting there telling me about is it Cassis or Cassis?
Cassis, yeah, Gavin Cassis.
Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he said that kid's legit. He said that he didn't play Saturday, so I didn't get to see him. But he said that coming from practice and stuff like that, that the man looks something serious. Which I would expect that, seeing as how he's coming from Vanderbilt, because nobody just gets recruited by Vanderbilt. But I think it's going to be pretty something. I don't know if I'm living on my high hopes right now because I realize who our head coach still is, but I'm excited. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm excited too, man. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If this team doesn't win this year, it's not because they lack talent. I just put it out there. It's not because they lack talent. You've got the arms. I don't think you've got to line up like, Tennessee last year by any means, but you got talent. You got good hitters. You've got quality hitters. You've got good enough. Let me put it this way. You've got good enough hitters to complement the pitching staff that you have. And the pitching staff that you have is, in my opinion, an Omaha caliber pitching staff. Truly, it really is. This is not me saying you're going to go to Omaha this year, but what I'm saying is that if you can complement the pitching with just even average to slightly above average hitting, you're going to win 40 games. Like I really do believe you can win 40 games with this roster. I really believe that. But will the hitting be there? That's the question. Taylor's oldest time, right? Will the hitting be there? And unfortunately, I'm extremely hopeful and I'm optimistic because, and I think a lot of what drives my optimism for Carolina baseball is I just hold the program in such high regard, and I know what the expectations are, and I feel like this is a program that, again, I think the expectations are fair for what you've done and what you are. So I always go into every Yard Cox season hopeful, optimistic, excited, but I think there's real concerns. And when it comes to my expectations are going to be more conservative than my hopes are, which might sound kind of obvious, but I'm just making that point because I still do think, you look at Mark Kingston's tenure, and yes, you added Monty Lee. That's a huge shot in the arm. But outside of that there's nothing that tells you that we're going to hit this year under Mark Kingston. We haven't. We just haven't. And we've done this whole song and dance before with transfer portal additions, and guys come in from schools like Virginia Tech and UCF and all these other schools, what have you, and it just doesn't work. And the guys don't live up to the hype, and and in turn the lineup's just not very good. So I hope that's not the case this year. I really don't. I really hope not, because if you can swing it even just average, you're just an average hitting team. If you're in the middle of the pack in the SEC in hitting, this team will probably win 40 games. That's how good the pitching will be.
Yeah, my projection, I guess you can kind of see this, not as far as record, but just what's going to happen in most games. I feel like our starting pitching is going to get us to a tight ball game. So we're going to be in those ball games, the 3-2, the 4-3, whatever. I think we'll be in games like that. My only concern is, are we going to have the bats to end up winning it?
Mm-hmm.
Or is our bullpen going to fail us? Those are my only two concerns as far as I think we'll have a lot of close games. I really do, because I think our pitching is going to be, at least our starting pitching is going to be outstanding. I don't know about the bullpen situation right now. I'm sure we'll get into that like when the season starts before SEC play. But I feel like those are our two biggest like question marks on how to win those tight ball games. But I think we'll be in a lot of tight ball games. So.
Oh, I think so as well. I think so as well, man. I think pitching is going to be the name of the game for us, and will we hit enough to capitalize on it? That's yet to be seen.
Definitely. But I'll leave you with that. I'm going to get off of here because I got to go into work. But it was great talking to you. I'm super, super, super excited. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on a couple of those things.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, Scotty, I appreciate it, man. And please do not apologize to anybody for changing the conversation from whatever we're talking about to baseball, because I enjoy talking about it.
For sure. I'll talk to you soon, Chris.
Yeah, man. Hey, appreciate you, Scotty. Take care, brother. Great stuff from our friend Scotty. And, you know, he brings up some great points. He does. He brings up some great points. Yes, Jack Mahoney is back. Rowdy Rooster tailgate could take place. You know, a lot of it, honestly, is just going to depend on what's the record like. You know, how do we, you know, how are we this year? You know, if we're good. Because baseball is, you know, it's just call it for what it is, guys. It's one of those games where if you're not good, there's not much of a draw for it, right? So I'll just say this, you know, I think what's interesting, excuse me, I'm sorry. I never yawn on TDC. I don't know why that just happened. But, you know, I haven't spent hardly any of this preseason talking about Mark Kingston and his job status, right? Because selfishly, I don't want to. I don't want that to be the lead topic of conversation. Now, you know, the week of opening day on that Monday when we drop the podcast, that'll be the full season preview show, predictions, and we talk top storylines. I mean, you have to talk Mark Kingston. You have to talk his job status. You have to talk the temperature of his seat, because it's a real thing. It's unavoidable, guys. It's unavoidable. And the second things start to go awry, if they do, the Fire Kingston chants are going to come out, and they're going to be loud. They're going to be loud. I think even if we're winning, right, you know, unless we're winning at a really, really high clip, even if we're like, we're getting by, you know, we're hovering around 500 SEC play, if we're doing so while not being able to swing the bat, I still think people are going to come out of the woodworks demanding a change at the head coaching spot, because it'll just be more of the same, right? And that leads me to this when it comes to this season. I think one of my biggest fears is, and maybe fear is the wrong word, but I just, is it good enough if you say win 34 or 35 games and you go 14-16 or 15-15 in league play, and you sort of back your way into the postseason because you rode elite pitching all year long, but you still couldn't hit, right? And let's say let's say you get into a favorable regional as a 2 or 3 seed and you win that regional and get to the supers. Like, if you bring him back, like, did you really solve the problem, or was your pitching just that dominant? You know, that's what I think scares me a little bit, is that they're going to back their way into the postseason and back their way into a super, and they're still not going to hit worth a damn. So we talk a lot about Carolina football, right? How it looks is important. I think Carolina baseball is the same way. Like, they need to hit. This team needs to hit, man. Winning's great. Winning's all that matters. But if you're winning and you're hitting 230 again in SEC play, 220 in SEC play, even if you win 34, 35 games, even if you go 15-15 in the league, even if you get to a super regional, did you really, like, are all the problems, do all the issues just go away? Because at some point, not being able to hit is going to rear its ugly head again. I just want a team that can swing the bats, man. And it's a shame because the pitching's good. The pitching's good. The pitching's really good. Anyways, we will see. I'm excited for the season, guys. Like I said, hey, like I've told you, and I posted this clip a couple days ago, we got to hit and hit early. We got to hit and hit early, folks. No excuse not to swing the bats and get hot out the gate against that non-conference schedule. Let's jump to the phone lines.
Call from
Luke RJ, McDonald's Hall of Fame.
to accept, press 1.
Luke RJ, McDonald's Hall of Fame. What's up?
I'm just chilling, bro. I was just messing with Robbie Davis, the way he says Zaxby's. You know, they got the Big Mac, they got the double quarter pounder, the McChicken, the chicken nuggets, the double cheeseburger, #1 franchise in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a huge McDonald's guy myself, but yeah, they are very popular for sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to joke around and say that. Hey, I wanted to talk about two things today. You know, the press conference thing you were talking about.
Yeah.
So, to be clear, I know that every coach is good at press conferences. Referring to Muschamp, I mean, did he do well at press conference? Yeah, he did okay, but I never thought would win a national championship at South Carolina. Just listening to him. I mean, I thought possibly we could be very good, but I never thought he was gonna just take us to a national title status or have a real chance to get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think for
From day
most,
one,
I think for most people, the reason
ahead.
they thought that wasn't possible is because he didn't win at Florida. And I mean, listen, even the most diehard of Gamecock that thinks the world of South Carolina can tell you it's easier to win a national championship at Florida than it is South Carolina. And so if you can't win at Florida, you know what I mean? What makes you think you're going to win at South Carolina? Like, I mean, you know, so I think that's a huge difference too in Beamer and not that, you know, not we're just comparing for the sake of because it's January the 30th and we want to talk football, right? But I mean that's another thing too is like the beautiful thing about Beamer is that his coaching career is like a blank canvas, right? So there's no baggage with Shane Beamer. Shane Beamer brought no baggage, right? He's writing his story. This is still chapter 1. Muschamp had baggage, right? He had baggage. He had been fired by another SEC school. So, yeah, I mean, again, just to your point, like reinforcing, I mean, I think Muschamp crushed or you know, held his own, if you will, in pressers and all. And I know he did because, again, there were Gamecock fans that loved him. They adored him. Adored him. That's my coach. Coach Boom, he's my coach. Loved him. But you have to do that, right? You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Like you either embrace your coach or you don't. And nobody, it's not a very fun position to hold as a fan of your team. It's not a very fun position to hold to be against your head coach, even if you're right in the end, right? It's just not a very fun position to hold. Now, for me, when I said fire Muschamp, I say that, but it became so glaringly obvious in my mind that he wasn't the right guy, right? I'm just saying from the jump, like if you're someone that you're doubting the head coach from the start, I mean, you have to drink the Kool-Aid, right? You have to buy in. You have to. Or it's just not going to be very fun to be a fan. I mean.
Yeah. And, you know, you wanted to get better. You wanted to turn out and you support them and believe in them. But, you know, just when you evaluate a coach just off a press conference, that's not like what I do or what I was, you know, thinking. But, you know, if you pay attention to what they say, you know, you can look at, like, there's times where, like, elite coaches, you just go, man, that guy he knows what he wants to say. You know, he just like the it factor, the elite things that separate them from everybody else. Like, you know, and I'm not seeing that from everybody because I don't watch a lot of different teams. But when I heard that Tennessee baseball coach talk, I was like, that's one of those times where he just by listening to him talk about the game, talk about his team, that's where you go, okay, he's a little bit different than just the average, coach in D1 baseball. And that's just the way I look at it. And I felt the same way with Beamer. I mean, Muschamp did good in his introductory press conference, and we were excited. I felt like, like I said, he was going to do well. We could probably win, but not like Beamer. I'm over there like pumping my fist after everything he says, like just like, this is going to be really good. And he knows what he wants to do from day one. And every time he talks, unless it's just like some pregame or like before the bowl game, that was kind of dull. But what else is there to say? But just when you listen to him and he's got that it factor, and I mean that's what I look at. And not all coaches have that,
I mean, you're right. You're definitely right. Not every coach is as good with the media as some others are, but it is kind of funny, my guy. And I'm not saying like you're saying this, but it kind of goes back to what Coleman Hall said is like, fan is short for fanatic. And I'm not like, obviously I love Gamecock fans, Gamecock fanatics, Gamecock Nation. I mean, truly the passion, I would never complain about the passion of Gamecock Nation, even those that loathe me, because it is that passion that allows me to do what I do for a living, right? There's no way I could do it for a living if people didn't care, right? Like that's exactly why I'm able to do it. Thank God for the passion that surrounds Gamecocks athletics and all the sports, at USC, but especially football. But it goes back to what Coleman Hall said. It's like, it's almost like, it means so much that when Beamer speaks, it's like a prophet speaking to people. Like that's the level. That's the level. That is the level of it. So, it's fans worship coaches the way folks worship God. I mean, it's just like, am I wrong? I mean, truly, damn near. You can compare it.
Yeah.
Some people, I'm not saying all, but there are some people that take the fanatic, the fanatical side of things to a whole new level. And I don't know, maybe that's going a little bit too far. I'm not trying to put anybody in that box necessarily, but it's that old adage again. It just means more. It might mean too much, but it's just, I think what it goes back to, like your emotions, what you're saying. It's one of those things where you got a guy in Shane Beamer that you just really, truly, genuinely believe him. And I think one of the other reasons too is a lot of the things that Beamer says is a breath of fresh air, after dealing with the fallout of the Spurrier era at the end and dealing with the Muschamp days. And it's just it's almost one of those things where like we've been in these horrible relationships and we're finally in a relationship where we're loved and appreciated. And, we get back the love that we give and we don't even know how to act. You know what I mean? It's like we're on cloud 9. So maybe I went a little far with I'm not saying people are out there, have shrines in their house dedicated to Shane Beamer, but, it's I mean, I think it's just the result of having the right guy in charge and people just resonate with everything he says. And I mean, for good reason, because most of the time, everything he says is spot on. So.
Yeah. So, I'll make one more comment. To say that like someone could listen to coaches around the country just talk in their press conferences and tell if they're going to be good or not. Like I'm not saying I could possibly do that. Like I'm not saying that. Because there are a lot of coaches, there are a lot of teams. I don't think you can evaluate a coach just off a press conference, obviously, right? But when it's your team and you really pay attention to what he says, you can pick up on, man, this guy's different than the last guy we had or the guy before that. And, so. But the other thing I wanted to talk about real quick, and I want to be clear about this too, the Jalen Hurts thing. So he is
Luke RJ. I don't even really, to be honest with you, I don't even really know what the argument was in the first place. I just knew it was you and P-Dawg. And for those of you that are tuned in that are not in the Big Cock Club Discord, above average Gamecocks and our boy Luke RJ couple months ago got into a hell of a tizzy about Jalen Hurts, and you can take it from there because I don't know anything about it.
Okay, so I just wanted to just make a comment that, you know, he's on the best team in the NFL. They're probably going to win the Super Bowl. They'll be favored. You know, he's a really good quarterback. You could probably say he's top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. The only thing that I mentioned that P-Dog didn't like was that he didn't play well in the national championship game, and in both national championship games, and he got benched and he was forced to transfer. No matter who replaced him, he didn't play well in those games. But both can be true. He a better NFL NFL player than Tua that replaced him in college? Yeah, you could probably say that. Like, of course, they're probably going to win the Super Bowl. Did Tua or did Jalen get benched and Saban benched him and then he had to transfer in college? That's also true. So, you know, I mean, you have to be able to separate the two because both can be true. Now, he developed, he got better, and he wasn't the same. He also did well before those national title games, and that's what P-Doc was saying also. Like, his stats were incredible all year, but, you know, the reason why I paid so close attention to it is because they were playing Clemson that year in the national championship. I mean, he went 13 for 31, 1 touchdown, and like 100 yards passing. So, you know, and Clemson won the title, but you know, you just have to. Both can be true, man. He got benched and he transferred. I mean, you can't dispute that. So at the time, he wasn't the best QB.
I mean, that did indeed happen. He did get benched and he did transfer. That is a fact. Yeah.
And it was all over the national championship, both national championship games, which they almost lost both with him as the starter of Alabama. So, you know, I don't know why that's, you know, so I think people just see what he's doing now and they're saying, well, you're just hating on him. You're just hating on him. Don't think he's good or, you know, whatever. But, you know, that's all I wanted to say about that. And, you know, I'm looking forward to the baseball season, man. I always like hearing stuff about the baseball team. So,
yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited too, and I hope the team gives you a reason to tune in throughout the season, my guy. Listen, I don't you know, I don't bring it up because I don't blame you for it. I'll say, and I don't blame anybody that, you know, like checked out early last year. You know what I mean? It's again, I very openly acknowledge that baseball and basketball are sports where you have to put a product on the floor on the diamond, and if you don't, the seasons are just too long, right, for people to invest their time, their energy, their emotions in a product that, like, they can see the ship sinking as it goes. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't blame you. So again, I say that sincerely, that I hope and I feel, but I hope that Gamecocks baseball will field a product that you and many others can be proud of and stay tuned in throughout the entire season. And, you know, we can have some really, really fun baseball to be talking about in mid to late April and early May and hopefully into June.
Yeah. So how long is a baseball game? Usually about over 3 hours, right?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, it really depends, right? There's no timer on baseball, but a college game, yeah, typically gonna take 3 or 3.5 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, so even if they're like incredible to see, asking 3 hours a day, 4 times a week, you know, to watch baseball. I mean, it's a lot. Even if you're, you love baseball.
Oh, trust me, my guy. Trust
know.
me. I agree with you 110%. I mean, listen. This will be my first season doing TSUS full time, not living in Columbia, right? So I'm not going to be at Founders Park for every game like I used to do. And I'll be totally honest with you. And if this makes me you want to question my fandom, so be it, which would be bogus. But if you want to do that, you can. But I'll be totally honest with you, Luke RJ. I'm not going to miss sitting out there at the ballpark for 4 hours in a Tuesday midweek game when it's 45 degrees outside. I'm just not going to miss it, my guy. So I agree with you. College baseball can drag. I mean, very badly. So, the pro game is much more efficient because those guys are so good. But yeah, I mean, those college games can drag, no doubt. They can drag, no doubt. I don't blame you at all, man. I totally get it. I totally get it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot, especially if you tune into a game and then, they're not hitting or they're getting blown out or something,
Yeah. Trust me, man.
So.
Like I said, I get it. It's the scarcity and the limited supply. That's one of the things that makes football so incredible. There's only 12 opportunities to watch your team, right? It's just that scarcity. You'd watch a football game if it was 6 hours, right? There's only 12 of them. So it's I mean, truly, it's that scarcity that makes it so special. One of the things.
Yeah, and if you don't go to the game and the broadcast is just like, not very good, and there's no replay, there's no scoreboard, I mean, it makes it kind of hard to watch every game. But yeah, Chris, that's all I got, man. Have a good rest of your day, and go Cox.
Appreciate you, Luke RJ. Thanks so much for the call. Great stuff from Luke RJ. As always, guys, we'll roll through it. We won't take another break. We got 8 minutes to go. I feel like Brennan M would give me hell if I did so. Quick update, by the way, guys, on the spring tour side of things. I'm still working with Carolina Ale House on getting these dates finalized. So as you can tell, of course, we're not even going to start the spring tour until late March, I think. So we've got time. We're going to wait until it warms up a little bit and we get into baseball season. And also we got postseason basketball to discuss and get into. And, of course, the spring game will be upcoming on April the 15th. Looking forward to that as well. And just really excited for what we got in the work. So appreciate y'all. Appreciate your patience as we get, as we get all these dates finalized and all the details secured and everything. Jacob E says, spending a Tuesday evening watching your team get out hit and out pitched by PC or any other lowly team wasn't very fun last year. Jacob, I agree. Listen, my man. I agree with you 110%, my guy. I agree with you 110%. I'm not blaming. I mean, listen, as much as I love baseball, I checked out last year, like mentally, in the sense of, I mean, I wasn't totally checked out, obviously, but I was, I wasn't making it a point to sit down and watch every game in the sense of like, we were playing golf and I was kind of doing whatever and just kind of keeping one eye on it. Because it's just one of those things where it was like, who's paying attention anyways? Like, we're not good. We're horrific, actually. So, I am excited for that to not be the case this year. Let me just put it that way. But you can't blame fans, man. There's so many games. And, I mean, like you mentioned, man, when you're sitting there getting your butt whooped by PC and Xavier and the Citadel and Charlotte. I mean, dude, the midweek games we lost last year was just – it was just brutal. And I will say this. I know we talked starting pitchers a couple of weeks ago, but Eli Jerzenbeck is a name that you need to keep an eye on. The freshman from Charlotte, absolutely electric stuff. From the sounds of it, it sounds like he's going to be kind of in line to be your next big-time Friday night guy. 96, 97 miles an hour with the fastball. Again, the stuff is filthy. But he's probably going to be your Tuesday guy. So I think pitching depth should – and, of course, you need improved hitting, but I think pitching depth should eliminate a lot of those struggles in the midweek. And that's got to be a point of emphasis, right? Normally you come into a season like, oh, it's a midweek, whatever. We'll just win. No big deal. But after last year, again, losing to the Citadel, Xavier, PC, Charlotte, the list goes on and on. The midweek's got to be a point of emphasis this year. It's got to be a point of emphasis. So Improved pitching depth. You need to swing it better. I think the focus in the midweek needs to be better as a whole. But I think the improved depth of the pitching staff is going to help eradicate some of those midweek woes. But it is something to keep an eye on as we begin this season and go throughout as well. So, yeah, the midweek had me wondering how Kingston got another year. That's what Jacob E. said. Yeah, it's truly. Coleman Hall, baseball and golf are all one and the same. Fun to play and fun to watch the important games and rounds. Indeed, Coleman. Indeed. But like I said, last year I was playing golf like Wild Carolina. I mean, I made a post-game video last year from the golf course. My Fire Kingston video was from the golf course, right? You might recall that. So, yeah, what a time. What a time. Anyways, guys, just a couple of minutes to go. Okay, how about this? South Carolina will scrimmage, baseball will scrimmage Wednesday at 3:30, Friday at 3:30, and then Saturday and Sunday are TBD. Saturday, Sunday are TBD. So I'm going to try to get to Columbia this weekend. I really, even if it's just for Friday, I really would like to see, I guess Friday would be the toughest. So probably Saturday or Sunday would work better because we got TDC on Friday and there's no way I could make it in time. But I would like to get down there. I would like to get down there to check them out, just at least once, just to get a look at them, just to get a look. So we will see. We'll figure it out. We'll see what the weather's doing and go from there. So. Lynn Turner said last year our bullpen was so decimated because we had to pull guys to weekends due to injuries that the midweek pitching was terrible. Yeah, Lynn, exactly. Like I said, I think that the improved depth in the pitching staff and fingers crossed you don't deal with the injury bug like you did last year. I think you should have a lot more options for the midweek. Absolutely. I think you should have a lot more options for the midweek, which should, again, erase some of those just inexplicable midweek losses. I mean, listen, it's baseball. Anything can happen, but there's no excuse for South Carolina losing to the Citadel, losing to Presbyterian, losing to USC Upstate, losing to Charlotte. I mean, dude, you think about it. It was crazy how many of the in-state teams beat Carolina. Wednesday at 3:30, Friday at 3:30, and then Saturday, Sunday, TBD is the Gamecocks scrimmage schedule for South Carolina baseball. So in case you guys are wondering, and they are free and open to the public. And then next weekend, they have their Fan Fest. They have the Fan Fest. I don't think I know I won't be at that one. But they've got Fan Fest February the 11th. Y'all go check that out for sure. Should be a good time, I imagine. Again, guys, great show today. I feel like time just flew by today, right? Time flies when you're having fun. But be sure to check out the podcast. It dropped this morning, episode 755, full breakdown of what happened over the weekend in recruiting, basketball. Our Yardcocks breakdown continues. We'll have a fantastic guest, JD Piquel of On3 Sports, on the podcast on Thursday, and we'll get it rolling with our guest on TDC tomorrow as we start that off. Evan, what's up, my man? Go check out Evan's article from this morning as well on the Gamecocks baseball team. He says PC lost 36-4 to Campbell 2 days before beating South Carolina and Columbia. That was the most jaw-dropping loss of the season to me. Yeah, I remember that, Evan. I do remember that. That was, again, inexplicable. Truly inexplicable. But it's crazy to think we're going into a season where, like, we need to get revenge on Presbyterian, but sure enough, that's where we are. So anyways, guys, we've hit 2 o'clock. Appreciate you all tuning in. Thank y'all so much. Y'all have a great rest of your Monday, and we will talk to you all tomorrow.